Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome again to one of my live streams. I'm trying to do a regular live stream, but before I begin talking, let me check if we are live on YouTube. So just bear with me a second and let's see if this is live. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome. Yep, it looks like we are live. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh again, and Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We are going to do a live stream just now. I've sent an invitation to a few of uh, potential powerful guests, special guests. I would love for others to participate. So if you want to join these live streams, do get in touch with me. Connect on LinkedIn. I've provided it in the description below, and I will arrange a time where you can join, or I could tell you when I'm going to do the next live stream, and then you could just jump in at any time and contribute with your experience and knowledge or whatever you want to share with us. If you want to ask us a question or give us constructive criticism or absolutely anything at all, it's an open broadcast for everyone, all my viewers, for the community. And the idea is to really encourage people to become more productive in life. So do something useful, increase yourself, improve yourself every day, whether it's health, like you're aware if you've been following my broadcasts. I've started a challenge recently with Mr. Tamkin Riaz to lose weight and improve my quality of life and health. Well, ultimately, one of the biggest priority is your health. Without health, you can't be a good servant to Allah. You can't, fulfill your obligation, your religious obligations, and your life. Sort of like worldly obligations like working and education and that kind of stuff. It would be difficult to, fulfill your purpose in life without good health. So it's always important to focus on, looking after your health so then you can function better and enjoy a good quality of life, as well as serve others and help others to also enjoy a good quality of life. And now, of course, as Muslims, we know this life isn't the be it end, be it all, and be it end, whatever the phrase is. Um, the purpose is to serve Allah and obviously to attain paradise, inshallah. And the way we do that is obviously we stick within these parameters that Allah has given to us according to the Quran and the example of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is our purpose: is to fulfill and become good servants to our Creator, as well as serve others. We are here in this world as servants to the Creator, and for us to serve other creations, save a life, try to inspire others to become better, create, build, and get involved in constructive efforts rather than destructive. So we're trying to, advance sciences, advance knowledge, help others, alleviate get out of poverty or help them solve their problems in life as well. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reach out to people that could potentially give knowledge to others or help others also succeed in life. So I'm going to be networking with other entrepreneurs and bring them on and let them share their experience of what they're trying to achieve as well in their life. So I am going to send the invitation out to a few of my contacts to see who's available just now to join the broadcast. And while we're waiting, I can basically summarize, if you haven't watched the last stream, of what has been achieved so far on my health transformation plan. So when I started the health transformation plan or challenge with Tamkin, I was about 107 at the beginning of August, almost 107. It's 106 point something, and Tamkin was about almost 90 kilos, I believe, and he managed to fluctuate between that and 84 kilos at one point in by the end of well, close to the end of August. He went down to 84.5 or something like that, and then he went up again to 86, 87. So he's been fluctuating between this range of 87 to 84, and he hasn't given up. He's still going, but because none of us have achieved our ideal weight goal of below 80 kg, so we've decided to roll the challenge forward until one of us basically breaks through that 80 kilogram mark, or reaches 80 kilos exactly. He becomes the winner, and the loser will contribute to charity a small, modest financial contribution of £100. We can always increase that to for other challenges that we're going to set up in future, inshallah. What in my case, I managed using just prolonged fasting, so just liquid fast, not eating anything but just drinking liquids. Of course, I did make mistakes. It wasn't like a perfect smooth ride where I was drinking coffee in coffee shops, and that contained high calories, and they put sugar and that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, I learned the hard way, because when I seen my weight was stagnating, I decided to cut out drinking coffee outside and just making my own coffee. So I've got a thermostat. I will just quickly show it to you, just so you can get an idea. So this is the thermostat, and I prepare my own coffee, and then I just carry it to every meeting I go to, or when I go out, I just take the coffee with me, and that way I know exactly what I'm drinking, and I can make sure that I have good quality coffee as well as organic milk, than just saying taking stuff that's sold in coffee shops. Unfortunately, I haven't found any good coffee shop that I can recommend, so I'm not going to recommend any of these uh, high street coffee shops to tell you they make good coffee, because unfortunately they don't. And yeah, well, they taste good coffee, but obviously it's not healthy because they put other stuff inside. They put sugar and sweeteners and other stuff to, obviously increase your appetite so you can order more and that kind of stuff. And of course, I want to focus on health, so my health is important. So I'm now cut out buying things from the high street, especially from coffee shops and so on. And I like to make my own stuff. So, uh, in this case, in within those 30 days, I've managed to drop between 106.4 or 107 kilos right down to 89 by the end of August. I am now roughly just under 87 kilos. So I will share uh, the, the the latest weight once I take my weighing again, weigh my body weight and stuff like that. And the good thing, I've mostly lost fat rather than muscle, because I have been regularly going to the gym at least 3 times a week. Although this particular week I haven't gone to the gym because I've been traveling quite a bit. But my plan is to always go at least 3 times a week to the gym, as well as do a bit of walking, 10,000 plus steps a day. Um, and of course, there were a couple of days here and there that I didn't actually go for a walk, especially I injured my knee and my ankle, and therefore I wasn't able to walk for a little while. But alhamdulillah, things are improving, and I am able to walk, so I still try to put in the steps every day, and yeah, so that's that from that aspect. But obviously, I'm trying to um, live a holistic life, so I'm trying not just to focus on just health. Health is priority, and that's why I've started with, and that's what I'm advocating for people to the priorities straight, and focus on their health first, and then start moving into other areas of their life where they want to improve. And I'm also looking into obviously the academic side, my academic life, which is my PhD research. I'm looking at my professional life, which is my business, Umacom, and developing that business as well. And I'm also looking at getting involved with other startups. And I've actually joined a board of a company. The entrepreneur might, the founder of that company might actually be joining us shortly, inshallah. I've sent him a link, or maybe in another broadcast that we do, I'll invite him and he'll talk about his business and his experience and what he's trying to achieve in the Isle of Man. And today was the last of the 2 day Isle of Man government conference. They do an annual conference every year. They talk about their targets and their goals and what they've achieved and so on. So government officials in the Isle of Man, they're very approachable and they take on a lot of the feedback from the people. So, sometimes people feel that the government's not listening to them, but, uh, in the UK, that could be true. In a lot of other countries, that also could be true. Uh, but in the Isle of Man, the governments are trying to engage the community, engage the citizens of the country, and trying to listen and really trying to implement some of these suggestions. So they really value people with ideas or suggestions how to improve the economy and how to take the country to the next level. And today they've also announced that the Isle of Man has the fourth largest GDP in Europe. So we are just there, the Isle of Man is progressing aggressively forward in a positive way. Unlike, obviously the UK or other countries which are actually falling behind and life is actually getting worse for everyone. And the main reason behind that is because the government in the Isle of Man are listening to the people, and also the people are communicating. So they are. So we have a guest that's coming on now. Sahish has just sent a request to join, so I'm gonna bring him on now, inshallah. And salamu alaikum, brother Sahish. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Assalamu
Okay, so alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi. So we are live on YouTube right now, and I'm doing just a live stream, and it's great that you've joined because I just mentioned that you've started up a company in the Isle of Man, but for the audience and the future audience that might watch this video later, could you give us a little idea about yourself? Maybe give us a little introduction, about your background, where you're from originally, and a little bit of history so people can know who you are, and then maybe we can start talking about your current business, Eastern Bridge, and where you want to take that.
Yeah, thank you very much for this offer, for fantastic opportunity, Mr. Sami. And I really appreciate your initiativeness that you have taken to have such an introduction of our company and even the Isle of Man itself. Many people doesn't know where the island itself. So at least they'll get they'll get an upper view of how the island works and why we
Mm-hmm.
are here. Basically, my background, my name is Sahish Rafiq. I'm an insurance professional for the last 23 years, and we have been in the business in freight forwarding and logistics business also for the last 15 years in the Middle East, and I'm Middle East and the US and Canada. um, I came to the UK to explore some markets, logistics markets and other insurance markets. But I understand that when I reached Isle of Man, I understand there is huge potential market in the island where we can do import, export, and custom clearance and local transportation. In these instances, I've met many people, business people, networking, and everything has been done properly. And finally, we end up our company set up in the island itself. Initial phase of our introduction was having a halal meat market from the island to the UK, where Isle of Man's premium quality meat can be exported to the UK. That was our initial business plan in the year 2020, and it was almost to brink. It was at the brink of having a successful plan, but due to COVID, it has been flopped, and we could not able to proceed further.
Mm-hmm.
Then now I'm settled in the island currently. Then moving forward, looking forward for my business opportunities. And you are there as a director of the company itself,
Yep.
so you can add more values of the conferences that we have attended today and yesterday with Isle of Man government conferences. And we meet ministers. We have put forward our views to the chief minister even, and the
Yep.
infrastructure, and we have got enough connections now, so we are going to explore how the market works. The best
Yeah.
opportunity we finding for the halal market is Isle of Man meat is a premium quality meat, and
Mm-hmm.
it has rich in iron and rich in protein compared to other meats across the globe. So it's a grass fed, purely grass fed, and it can be termed as an organic meat. In
Mm-hmm.
these instances, the only thing is, they could not explore because that is not a halal mark. They can't export to the halal market because it's not
Mm-hmm.
halal. So we have already introduced a segment of halal market to the Isle of Man meat, and previously it was under discussion. And I think I'll take up that matter further with the concerned authorities or concerned persons in order to discuss
Yep.
more about. But the major, major drawback that I'm feeling is, these meats which has been produced as halal, then it has to be transported to the UK, where it has
Mm-hmm.
been slaughtered in a proper fashion of halalic manner itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that we need to discuss with the halal board of UK, and in order to
Mm-hmm.
get appropriate license and everything. Since this meat has already been in the UK market, I hope public knows about the Isle of Man meat market. It's a matter of a time of getting a halal segment. So any community can taste the organic meat which has been produced by
Mm-hmm.
the island farmers. So this is
Mm-hmm.
also one of the motto that Eastern Bridge are in this island.
Yeah, I mean it's you've gone really into the details of exactly what you want to do, but let's just go rewind back a little bit. Let's start off. I mean, where are you from originally? You're from India. That's your origins from India.
I'm an
Uh,
Indian citizen. I was working in Saudi for
uh-huh.
23. So my residents are back in Saudi, but I'm an Indian
Yeah.
citizen. I was working over there.
Mashallah.
Now I settled
Yeah.
in Ireland
Mhm.
with my.
Yeah. So, but your main business, Eastern Bridge, is logistics, freight forwarding, this
Right.
kind of stuff, and you're expanding to the Isle of Man, and you're looking for new markets, especially you see there is a niche in the halal meat industry,
Correct.
and
So
and that,
our main motto, Swami, is, it's
mm,
not like normal logistics companies does. For example, normal logistics company, I'll give an example that
mm,
you need to import a machinery from Germany to the UK. So we just
mm,
brought, normal freight forwarders does. They'll arrange the export, they'll bring over here, and they'll deliver. Your job is over, and we
mm,
invoice it. My way is, we trade ourselves. For example, if Isle
mm,
of Man is providing, let's take an hypothetical example. I'm not talking anything. If a trader
mm,
wants to, we will be the buyer and we will export it. So what
yeah,
happens? Stop policy. That's what we want to bring through Eastern Bridge. The name itself is, a bridge is been done to the eastern side of the world. This is how
yes.
what the intention of the name itself in the which we have put in the company.
Well, inshallah, maybe one day we'll have a bridge from the Isle of Man, a physical, real bridge from the Isle of Man to the UK. That would be
That's
amazing.
what
That will open up a lot of opportunity, wouldn't it?
wonderful. You know why? Because
Yeah.
if Saudi Arabia and Dubai, they have already a bridge. Saudi Arabia and Bahrain has a,
Yes.
like, it's a 150 kilometers bridge, and people are
Mm,
going at any time, and they have enough economic stability is there because of
mm-hmm.
education. And the culture is not different even. Even different, Bahrain is a different country, Saudi is a different country. Even Dubai, their culture is not different. It's one. So similarly, Ireland,
Mm.
Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, all these, are the nearest cities of the Isle of Man where they can easily connect each other. And
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we should be coming together. The world should be coming together rather than, disuniting on everyone saying we're a sovereign nation and we should be
yeah,
independent and so on. So really, cooperation is much better because together everyone achieves more.
right.
You know,
For
we all have our own set of skills,
yeah,
attributes. There's advantages to, companies in the UK. There's disadvantages in the UK. There's advantages in the Isle of Man. And if we can cooperate together, we can reduce costs, for transportation as well as open up new markets between
without
the
doubt,
two countries.
without doubt, the major
Yeah.
issue is transportation cost from here to there. That's a major thing. Once that is
Mm.
been out, I think the it will boom up like anything, the transportation, because that's the only
Yeah.
finding difficult. I think in
Yeah.
today's one of them are mentioning about the underwater plan from Isle of Man to, I don't know
Oh
whether it has.
yeah, that would be brilliant as well. Like the Channel Tunnel, like
Yeah,
what the UK has with France. If they do think along those lines and they implement something along those lines, that would be a great opportunity for people to travel even between the two islands as well as business freight traveling because just relying on sea freight and air freight alone isn't enough. I mean, you can speed things up if you have roads, especially if they have clean technology. And I know the Isle of Man, they were talking today about investing heavily in green technology and clean tech and that kind of stuff, as well as fintech and other areas as well. So I see I mean, what's your opinion about the conference anyway? What did you
fantastic.
take anything? Yeah,
It's a
it was absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah,
wa-
definitely.
Well, it's very fantastic.
Yeah,
I really love to attend more and more on these conferences because people, first of all, the entire crew members, was very helpful, and they're guiding people, were guiding to each halls, where the where where the, what do you call where the sessions are happening from time to time, and
yeah.
after that, also people are ready to meet each other.
Mm,
They're very well connected each other and supportive as well. So I had an opportunity to meet the chief minister as well. So he has heard what we want to hear from me. So he has already been kept in mind, and he promised that
yeah.
he will be giving me an appointment to discuss with him further on the matters of
Mm,
business
mm,
and how to progress in the island. So such
yeah,
opportunity, it's a very fantastic opportunity for people who are
yeah.
new to a networking event.
Yeah, and you noticed how the government officials and ministers, they're very humble. I mean, they're very approachable, and you speak to them. No one stops you from talking to them or arranging a meeting, and you raise your concern about different issues. I know you raised a few concerns, common concerns like bank accounts for business startups and entrepreneurs and people just coming to the island. All this. There's a lot of red tape and regulations and stuff. And straight away they took it seriously. They brought it up. They've mentioned it in different sessions as well. So they're listening. The government here in the Isle of Man are listening. And I'll tell you a little bit of contrast because I've lived in the UK for a long time. I attended I attended similar events in the UK where there were government officials and international representation from different countries. And I actually sat on the same table with someone quite high up, a government official. And immediately, in 30 seconds, security guards came, Secret Service came, and they just basically surrounded me and they started asking me, "Who are you? Why are you speaking? You need to make an appointment." And they basically just dragged me away. So they kind of conceal everyone. They have maximum security around them. It's very difficult to communicate with them. And even if you do, they kind of look down on you. They're like, "Who are you? You know what? What's your right? We're not interested. We know better." So the government in the UK, they're very arrogant, and they only think about their self-interest. They're not there to serve the people. They're there in a position as a, sort of like a prestigious position. I'm prime minister. I am, XYZ treasurer or whatever, and they just completely ignore the public, and it's only by protests that you see in London and strikes and stuff like that the government start to etch forward, because when they realize that the whole country is going to go to a gridlock, they start to throw a few crumbs here and there at the citizens. So it's a big contrast. If you see something like this in the UK, uh, it's just you won't have a chance to talk to anyone, and you
I,
won't be listened to. And it's exactly the same in other countries as well. I mean, you've traveled around and you've probably seen a lot, especially in the Middle East, whatever. It's very difficult to speak to someone in position of authority in the government, as easy as it is in the Isle of Man. Isle of Man, they're very approachable. They listen. They're very humble. They respect any constructive criticism. In fact, they're always mentioned in the sessions. You've always seen them. Oh, we like to be challenged. We like to be challenged. Challenge us. Tell us, how we can make things better for everyone. So yeah, it's very refreshing to hear that from
yeah,
people in
intentions are there.
government.
The Isle of Man government intentions are very clear, and it's already put
Mm,
forward in front of the public, and they can ask any questions. And this is the second conference, in the Isle of Man. Last year it has been done,
yes.
and I think more and more conferences and networking will have more connections with each other, and it will build and it will change drastically, and people
Mm,
will come. People will be arriving from different parts of the world to the island and see how, because island community accept all cultures, anything, and so they are very,
yeah.
very, as you said, and they are very warmly welcoming community, and I love that.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm
Yes.
I'm very lucky to live over here, and
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. It's a blessing, and it's a real blessing that I met you, and we're now cooperated together. We're involved in the same business now. We're gonna build Eastern Bridge together, inshallah, and maybe, other Muslims on the island, they can also unite together and cooperate to do good and share, their vision and so on. Because ultimately, we're here as servants of Allah. We're here to serve others, and this is our purpose of life. Share the message, show a
correct,
good example of what Islam is all about.
correct.
It's a constructive religion. It's a way to contribute to society. We have to care about all of God's creation. Serve everyone, help everyone, make the world a better place for everyone. And all creatures, not just human beings. I'm not just saying just Muslims, or just stick to our community or our culture and whatever. We have to serve everything, even the nature itself. We have to look after the environment. So having clean technology. This is what we're supposed to be engaging in.
I,
Looking
I
for solutions to problems, and
I really appreciate your thoughts, and
yeah,
your futuristic approach. And I think I'm ready to merge with anyone to work for the benefit of the economy of the island and for the people in the island. And that's it.
yeah. So let's go talk about the health in sorry the halal meat industry.
Yeah.
Now I know just a little bit compared to you, because I attended the World Halal Forum. It's like a summit that happens annually, and all the people that are inside that industry, in the halal food industry, they come together and they're speakers and that kind of stuff. And usually goes on in London. So I kind of know a little bit about the halal meat industry, but where do you see the opportunity right now? I mean, in the UK they have halal meat, but from what my understanding, it's stunned, so they electrocute the animal before they slaughter it.
Correct.
So yeah, that sort of thing. So do you see, where do you see the opportunity of entering the halal meat industry for the UK? Are you focused on just doing halal in Isle of Man, or we're now going looking at the UK or the
No,
world, or what?
no, no. We are looking in the Isle of Man itself, within the Isle of Man, and expanding it to the UK territory,
Okay.
and even to the other islands like New Jersey and other near other 4 5 islands we have in the UK itself. So we are focusing in this area in the beginning. So the halal slaughtering. as you said, stunned instead of stunting, it has to be
Yeah.
slaughtered in a proper fashion, in a
Mm.
manner. Then it has to be done because in stun, what's happening when you put stun, some animals get heart attack and then they
Mm.
slaughter. So such slaughtering, I don't think that it's been acceptable and be considered as a halal segment itself.
Yep.
But some Sharia boards and everything has been approving the same. So that they have to be clarified, not from my end. In my point
Yeah.
of view, be slaughtered properly, and it has to be skin has to be removed once the animal is completely finalized. His last
Yep.
the last drip of blood is gone. It takes
Yeah.
10 to 15 minutes to the maximum, I think, after the slaughtering. Then you can move.
Mm.
Here, what so the animal comes in that in a way, and then they put the stunt, and then it goes to spinning, and then skin is removed automatically. So the process itself is, the animal has not been dead until after it's stunned as well, because
Mm.
the life is still there.
Mm.
So we have to keep the animal in such a way that it is completely passed away for 15 to 16. But in the meantime, the blood will flow completely out, and then it's ready for the complete skin removal and the other things, whatever you want to do.
Mm. Mm. So it's
the,
in a way it's like torturing the animal because you're electrocuting it, and then you're, even if the animal doesn't die, you're torturing by skinning the animal while it's still alive, and yeah, so the animal goes through a lot of ordeal, a lot of
yeah,
pain,
but
and
that
that
is
could poison the meat as well, isn't
yeah,
it?
but
Because
that is
blood
what
explodes and.
Yeah, but that is what scientifically approved and scientifically agreed, I think. And it's
Mhm.
been, and so we can't comment on such poisonous or any substances because it has been scientifically agreed, approved, and it's been tested and verified, and people are having it, and nothing has
Yeah.
been no other harm. But if you go for pure halalic methodology, this is what we are
Mm.
saying. For methodology, you have to have a proper methodology. This is the proper methodology followed in other Islamic countries where they are, and it is and not only Islamic countries. I think it's under comes under the Sharia compliant.
Yeah.
So if that has been carried out by the board of Sharia or
Mhm.
any it's been approved, then we have to move it in that scenario itself.
Yeah, inshallah. I think your way is far better and far more closer. In fact, it's matching exactly what it says in the Quran. You know how to slaughter the animal because you're supposed to show compassion, supposed to show kindness, not make the animal suffer in any way, or die before you slaughter it. I mean, it's haram for us to eat dead meat. It has to be slaughtered. It has to be purified. The animal. No other animal should see another animal being slaughtered as well, because that would terrify it. So
Correct.
there is a process as well as the whole process has to be clean. So it has to be halal and tayyiba. Like pure as well. So in that sense as well, the environment where we're slaughtering the animal has to be clean. It has to, that kind of stuff. Quality of the meat as well. We can't have the actual cattle being fed junk in a way, like GMO feeds or anything like that. So we're really advocating organic meat by grass feeding
Correct.
the animal, letting it you know
Moreover,
grow
the
and develop
grazing,
naturally.
the grazing period in the Isle of Man is huge, long. So
Yeah.
that itself makes the animal more stronger, and it gives more, vibrant protein in the meat itself. So I
Mm.
think that's why it's called the premium quality meat.
Yeah, exactly. I
That's
was
why
just about to say that the Isle of Man generally they
yeah,
have premium quality,
yeah,
good quality, and
Isle of
we're
Man.
we're just basically taking it to the halal industry. We're making it halal, so now it's halal and tayyib and quality. So it only be suitable, or our target market is people that care about their health. People that care about quality rather than just cheap stuff. Because if you want cheap, eventually you're gonna have to pay the price. If you don't, buy the premium food today and live a good quality of life, you're gonna pay with your health. Later on, you might get diseases, you might get infections or other issues, and then you're gonna pay a more expensive price. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's better to pay a little extra, buy premium quality halal meat than just stunned meat or meat that's a bit suspicious. It's like in a gray area. Is it halal? Is it haram? That kind of stuff. At least what we're doing is 100% halal, unquestionable. It's clear cut, and it's going back to the prophetic way of slaughtering, according to the Quran and the Sunnah example of the Prophet. So yeah, this is fantastic what you're saying, Sahish. Any other areas that you wanted to sort of expand in, or you had ideas? I mean, other than the halal industry, are you looking to do other sort of logistics business between the Isle
Yeah.
of Man and the UK?
Our
Or
basic business is trading and freight forwarding and logistics business. So why we are
mm,
mixed trading? We are to the customers. We say customers. We are the customers to the end seller, and we buy the
okay,
product and then we logistics to the end buyer. So
yeah,
what's not like normal logistics companies doing? Like as I mentioned previously, you want to bring a generator from Germany to Saudi Arabia. So we bring and our job is over. But if we can, what we'll do, we will buy the generator and said, Give us the purchase order for the generator. We'll arrange for you the generator. We'll pick it up, deliver to your warehouse. So it's a one-stop-stop policy that we have been focusing. So
mm,
that's the reason we are focusing initially on the food and agriculture industry. So that is end consumer, and it can done
okay,
at a very faster pace than any other.
mm.
And this
I mean,
and this
yeah,
will
go ahead.
also provide they also provide the customers both side a comfort zone.
Uh huh.
Somebody is in between. I'm the seller, I'm the buyer itself, and I'm the
Okay.
logistics, handling the logistics.
So you give them a complete service, a
Yeah.
turnaround service. What about bringing stuff from the Middle East? I mean, like in Saudi Arabia, they have good quality dates as well. Are you also looking into like importing to the Isle of Man
Yes, yes.
products from Saudi Arabia or other Middle East countries, or from your main country in India? I mean, you've got spices in India, you've got rice, you've got so many things in India.
We are currently having a discussion with some of the Saudi Arabian companies who is producing dates. But
Mm,
the thing is, when it's near to Ramadan timings and Hajj timing, these are the time when they are importing to UK and other European countries.
mm,
And
yeah.
moreover spices from India, Kerala, especially from Kerala spices, we have already a
Mm,
relationship farmers, local farmers, which developed a fair trade policy for them. Uh,
okay.
yes, we're trying to. I'm working on the same, but it has not kicked out yet. I'm
Yeah.
trying to partner in the UK itself, where we can provide the samples, test it, and if it's okay, then it has to be imported to the UK market. And that is all. We have both type of organic spices and non-organic spices also. So it's been
Mm,
in a place called Wayanad in Kerala, which is
mm,
almost 2,800 feet above the sea level. So
mm,
there's coffee, tea, cardamom, pepper, and ginger, and something like that. These are the main production over there. So
mm,
farmers are very much ripped off from the people from the what do you call uh, from the higher level people, who is having a
mm,
whole or upper hand on the hand. So we tried, we developed a fair trade policy there. So farmers, all almost 5,000 farmers, they
mm,
farm, they produce their they produce whatever their production is there, they bring to our factory outlet, and then they
mm,
refurbish accordingly. So it's quite difficult because they have not started any export. So they asked me to take care of the export market, which I'm
yeah.
currently have not done anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
So find out somebody who can assist in this, whether somebody is interested to come up with having the entire like one stop policy instead of having, break even for each channels, so somebody is coming as a one stop policy that would be easy for the
Mm.
farmers as well. So
Yeah.
farmers producers, if we are returning back a fair trade money to the farmers back, they'll produce more quality products again, and this will, as you said, it will be benefit for the community and to the health as well.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's all fantastic and great advice, but what we want to go back to now is when you now came into the Isle of Man, you've discovered the Isle of Man. What was your experience like when you're setting up the company for the first time? I mean, I know you set up companies in other countries' jurisdictions, and in the Middle East, you operate, I believe, in Qatar, also in Saudi Arabia,
All
GCC, the UAE, Canada, America, so many
right.
other jurisdictions you operate in your business. But now you're moving to the Isle of Man. How do you feel, the business startup process compared to other businesses that you've started up in the past in other jurisdictions? How does that compare?
Actually, my the thing is, only thing is when we submitted the proposal should be in a manner that the Isle of Man government authorities, which is the DFE, should understand what we are able to do in this country and how can
Mm,
we develop economy, and they warmly welcome the ideas, and they discuss with us in person to person in detail, and
mm,
they agreed, and it was a smooth operation for us. That's it. There is not
mm,
we didn't suffer any hassles in between in carrying forward that
yeah.
in establish the business in the Isle of Man.
Mm. So you found that the government, the business, the departments, they're very helpful. But did you face any challenges? You've mentioned like business accounts and stuff like that. Is it that's the current challenge right now in the Isle of Man is business accounts? Because it doesn't just affect people that come into the island. People, local people also have these
Yeah,
kind of issues of
establishing company,
opening accounts
government
because it's
government
out of the hands of the government. That the bank,
uh,
if the bank
uh,
makes a decision that, for example, oh, we're not going to open this person's account, or we are going to delay the process. We're going to take instead of days, we're going to take, we're going to need to review it. Maybe take a couple of months before they can have a bank account, and that maybe delays the entrepreneur from starting a business. I mean, they're already there spending money, growing their business, and at the same time, the bank is not cooperating. Is that the current issue in the Isle of Man that
correct.
you've witnessed?
I can only explain about what I faced it in the island regarding the bank
Yeah.
accounts. I have not been able to open any corporate bank account in major banks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they says no, it's been restricted according to their risk appetite, and each bank has their own compliance system and everything. So they want us to see that we are totally 100% compliant or something like that. So I said we are new
Yeah.
to the our business is new
Yeah.
in, so that's the reason this is no
Yeah.
accounts is very difficult to open over here.
Yeah. So this is an issue that the government can solve because the government they can only do what they can. Their policies they can encourage, they can reduce taxes and the fiscal policy. But for the bank because it's a private entity, they have their own rules. They decide if they don't want to do business with you, if they don't want to serve you. It's their shop basically. They say, well, you're not welcome in my shop. So
So
they
in
can discriminate anyone they want. They can say, "Well, I don't like this guy. I like to
no,
do business with this kind of person, or this person's new. I'm not sure if I can trust him if he can walk into my shop." So they can discriminate. That's the problem right now. The current
problem.
the financial sector, and that
Yeah,
needs to improve.
no,
And they discriminate against all sorts of people. So
that-
you know,
it's it, it,
so that
it's
unfortunately that's the case right now.
yeah, it's
I see there's an opportunity for a public sector bank, like a government owned bank. That would be fantastic. If there was a bank that is owned by the government and the government says, well, you have to open accounts for every single business that starts up. in the UK. Sorry, in the Isle of Man, you need to give them a bank account. As long as your company is registered, it's already gone through all the procedure regarding company registration, then they should not deny you based on your ethnicity or your political views or anything else, because it's nothing to do with business. You're doing a legitimate business. They should accept you. They shouldn't tell you, oh, where you're from, what's your background, where was you born? Okay, you're British, but where are you originally from? They shouldn't ask you personal, sensitive questions. They shouldn't look at your gender or your creed and that kind of stuff to make a decision whether to open a bank account or not. They should judge only your business. I feel this is the case because I had the similar experience when I came to the Isle of Man. I faced a lot of challenges, and then later on, after a few years, suddenly now I'm a permanent resident. I've got history on the island. I've made connections, that kind of stuff. Suddenly, doors started to open. Oh, he's one of us now. But a new person is almost impossible. And I can tell you, I don't know if your accommodation, was it easy for you to get accommodation, get an office, or did you face any problems there?
The office and accommodation was no problem. I got it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I got it, and I got my vehicle as well. There's no problem in that. Only the
Okay,
business model which
yeah,
we are following is requiring a corporate bank account is compulsory.
yep,
So
yep,
feel I, I feel the government will have a new policy. I understand from the previous discussion that even though people are coming, they can utilize maybe any bank account.
mm-hmm,
Maybe you can show my Indian bank account and I can run
mm,
business with no need of Isle of Man Bank itself if these things are moving
yep,
in this way. So
yep.
because business has to run and tax has to be paid. That's it.
Yes, that's it. So yeah, the governments they have a policy where they've made it a little bit flexible. It's just like a workaround. Ideally, in the best case scenario, you go to the country, you set up a company there, you go to a bank, and they will open an account for you. Since the company is, it's based in the country, so it should be very simple, straightforward, and it should be part of the package and part of the guidance. Once you register a company, the first thing they're supposed to, like concierge service, they say, okay, now you've got a company, and like a business advisor from the government maybe can say, okay, now we've partnered with this bank, or we recommend XYZ high street bank. That would be ideal, but unfortunately it's not the case. But there is a workaround. You can do online banks if they accept you to, if they represent international clients or people that are not, have 5 years resident history in the country, then they might accept. And also, like you mentioned as well, you still use the Indian account or you can use another country account, and as long as you pay your tax and everything else, the government's fine with that. So there are workarounds. That's what we wanted to get around to, and highlight to the people, and we want to make people aware of all these challenges. So there are like positive points and a lot of attractions to the Isle of Man, which I agree with, but also there is some, you know, teething issues that people might face when they're starting up a company or they're coming to the Isle of Man for the very first time. There needs to be a little bit of time to, and persevere a little bit to get around some of these issues. I mean, me personally, when I moved to the island, I had a lot of challenges, not just opening a bank account, also, finding a place to rent, trying to buy a property on the island. It was a big challenge. I put on offers because I'm a cash buyer. I don't do mortgages. I see mortgages or any bank loans are haram, not permissible in Islam. So I always do cash deals. So every time I put an offer on, and I don't know if it's a coincidence or not. I mean, the property could be on the market for a few months, and I come in with an offer, and then the vendor accepts. Then by the time I contact one of the Isle of Man conveyancing firms, law firms, the very next day, after I give them all the details, the very next day, the estate agent says, "Well, the vendor's got a better offer now. Are you willing to raise?" And yeah, unfortunately, uh, the property does sell, does sell for a lot higher than what I've put on as an offer. So
That's
either I'm just giving them the baraka, something, and it's happened to me not just once,
yeah.
almost every single time I contacted a conveyancing firm in the Isle of Man. um, Either the conveyancing firm would contact me and say, oh, after they get all the details, they say, sorry, it's conflict of interest. Next thing I know, one of their clients buys the property. I set the deal and they pick it up, one of the clients. So there's something going on there, but I can't put my finger on it. I haven't got all the evidence to claim that this is exactly what's going on. But yeah, that I've had really bad experience when we're trying to buy a property. Also, when renting, when I moved to the island, I couldn't rent an apartment, not because I couldn't afford to rent it, but because the landlords or the estate agents would ask me for history, few years history. They would say, "Oh, how long have you been in the island? We need to get reference. We need 5 years of history. We need." They asked me a lot of detail. I don't know. Maybe things have improved. So I actually started off by renting a room, and that's much easier. Starting off for like guest houses, hotels, renting a room, and then going into a an apartment later on after I stayed a few years in on the island. So then now I've got people that can give me a reference. Okay, this person's stayed with us. He pays on time, that kind of stuff. So yeah, they can be very selective, and the reason why landlords are very selective is because there's a long queue of people that want to rent, and there's only a limited number of properties on the market. So when you have one or two properties and 10 people want to rent, the properties, you could be then selective. You could say, well, oh, I think we got cut off the air. Zoom is cut off. So unfortunately, we're out of time. I've lost my guest. Yeah, so I'm gonna end the stream now.